Hi, I'm Barry Shepard, the Executive Director at the Police Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame was established in 1960 in a small 3,000 square foot facility and has grown into this beautiful 50,000 square foot facility that we see here today. The Hall of Fame is multifaceted and has programs and services to aid and support police departments, officers, and the families of fallen officers nationwide. To find out more about these programs, please follow us on Facebook or log on to our website at aphf.org. The Hall of Fame and Museum is the nation's first and largest museum and memorial dedicated to law enforcement officers around the country. With thousands of exhibits on display every day, including the indoor memorial and the shooting range, it is easy to see why the museum is a great destination for many tourists each and every year. Today, we are honored to have a new exhibit within our walls. This exhibit recognizes the Blue Knights and their role in law enforcement and within the community, and we are proud to be able to tell their outstanding story today. Many thanks to the Blue Knights and for all that they do, and especially for allowing the Police Hall of Fame this special opportunity.
The Blue Knights is a non-profit fraternal organization consisting of active and retired law enforcement men and women who enjoy riding motorcycles, but that's not all they do. The Blue Knights work long and hard raising money for various charities. A few of the many charities are the American Police Hall of Fame and Museum, the American Federation of Police and Concerned Citizens, and Families of the Shield. Near and dear to their hearts are the charities involving children. Those include the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and the Ronald McDonald House. As of January 2012, the Blue Knights have raised over $15 million. Today, the Blue Knights International is the world's largest law enforcement motorcycle club with over 20,000 members and 600 chapters in 24 countries across the globe.
In 1974, I was out riding with a fellow police officer. We had stopped at Bucksport, Maine, to a roadside stop to do our thing, and I mentioned it to him that I would like to start a motorcycle club for police officers. And he says, yeah, that sounds good. He says, why don't you go for it? I said, okay, when I get home, I'll sit down, write a letter out for the different departments around Bangor, Maine, and see if we can get anybody come the first meeting. The first meeting came, I set the date, the time, the place, and 7 members showed up. And by coincidence, out of the 7, they were all from different departments. And from that, we started.
Well, I was summoned to the Black Knight restaurant by a fellow officer. Ed Gallant had a great idea of starting a motorcycle club for law enforcement officers as he rode all the time. So at that point, we decided we'd go around to the police stations and we'd put up posters and see who in law enforcement was interested in the other police department.
It was back in 1979. J.R. Biddle, a fellow officer on my department in Dover, Ohio, and I got together and decided we wanted to start a motorcycle club to keep the camaraderie together. For the law enforcement officers that we all work with. And we took, within a few days, we had 18 officers in surrounding departments and put a chapter together, Ohio Chapter 17, and the rest, they say, is history.
Well, I first was on a motorcycle ride up to Killington, Vermont, and I ran across 6 bikes riding together, all looking really sharp with blue vests on, and got my attention, obviously. So in a relatively short period of time, I jumped right aboard and got my colors and my ride, and I was really happy to be in a brotherhood of law enforcement officers, because wherever you were, you can relate to each other.
In the last 20 years, I've watched the membership in the Southern Regional Conference quadruple in numbers. We've gone from 9 chapters to 81 chapters. This is just in this part of the country. And I believe that within the next 10 years, with some of the positive directions that the Blue Knights is headed, that we'll probably see close to double the membership we see now within the next 10 years.
I'm actually young in the club. I joined in 2004, and I had guys that worked for me at the police department that were a member of Blue Knights, long-time members. And over the years, I had heard them talking about being members of the Blue Knights, and after one of their return trips, they started talking about the fellowship and the camaraderie, and it sparked my interest. So I looked at more and more, and then rather than join a chapter, I started my own chapter.
The Blue Knights make me proud. Everywhere you go, you meet no strangers, just friends you haven't met before. It's a simple sentences, but it's really the truth.
Well, I'm proud to say that I'm a Blue Knight because of the people in the organization. I've got so many just wonderful friends that can't even imagine having without the organization.
When I hear the term Heaven Won, it brings to mind the camaraderie of the organization, not only here, but in the hereafter. I think that we all Blue Knights would like to think and do believe that we are bound for a better world, and we're going to be bonded again in a similar nature in another place and another time, and hopefully there'll be motorcycles there too.
Heaven Won means to me a place where the Blue Knights go to ride. It's a paradise for us, and where we can continue to fellowship as Blue Knights, as law enforcement officers.
Heaven Won is certainly a very honorable place.
I remember when we first started to join the club, there were 7 or 8 members. And the 4 of us that joined at the same time brought us up to 11 or 12 members. And I can remember thinking how just great it would be and how awesome it would be to go down the road with 15 or 20 or 25 motorcycles all in a row, everybody wearing Blue Knights colors and going to some ride we were going to or some destination.
As one of the rare honorary members of the international organization, whenever I don the vest and go to an event or to a meeting, there is nothing that makes me more proud than being a Blue Knight.
Well, when you walk through the halls and the corridors of the American Police Hall of Fame, and you look at what's on the walls and the people that have contributed to it and all the different exhibits and everything else, you get a good, clear understanding of what this means to this organization, and them being the first to be able to accomplish that. Having that legacy kind of etched in stone or etched on the wall, if you will, I think is dynamic not only to the group, but it's dynamic to those that'll come in years to come and sit there and look and go, man, this is something that started years and years ago and has evolved into what it currently is today. And when you think that you're a part of that, and you think that this coming Saturday we have a ride coming up, and we'll all be out on that ride and participating in it, it gives it a great feeling of being able to say, man, I was part of something that got that kind of recognition, and also to be able to see it be told for years to come.
Strangers so few in the streets filled with